Come on, click it. Right completed. Excellent. All right. So what I've been working on here today so far is a 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT that another shop put a blower on it and a cam and some other stuff. You enter the shop with lifter noise, and the lifters in some of these Dodges are known for taking a crap. So instead of just fixing the lifters, they put a bigger cam in it. And instead of just doing the cam, they said, let's do a blower too. So they did a blower. The problem is that the tune that came on the blower kit is really bad. I just adjusted the injector pulse width, and apparently I did it wrong. What's up?
Are you on YouTube?
I am.
Oh, I was gonna say, do you want to see the blaze before it actually kicks off?
How you looked at it?
I know, but she wanted to show you. It's her car. Also, I wanted to see if I put the back floor mats in the right way.
Do they not fit?
They do, but they have a little flat part. Does yours have the flat part?
I don't know.
Oh. Okay.
They like hold it in place, something goes under the carpet or something, or what?
It goes under the back mat, so it's like double matted, which is kind of weird.
Mine, I mean, it's got the hexagon shaped stuff on the bottom, right? That's supposed to bite into the carpet.
I think so. I don't know. I'm gonna look at it again.
I don't know. I mean, you can go look at Teresa's.
What?
You can go look at Teresa's.
Right.
She's just down the street. So I just did a big change to the injector setup, and apparently I didn't do enough. Well, I say that, but what happened is I found that they had the pulse widths and the fuel mass really whack, and so I went through and adjusted it and got the car to run a lot better. And then I just made a change to that again and realized I forgot to alter the second. There's two maps that are a pair, and they have to match and be inverse of each other, and I forgot to do it. So I did it once already. I didn't do it this time, so let me adjust that real quick. I'll show you that map here in a second. Okay. So the way so Dodge is weird. I mean, it's good and bad, I guess, really. So with Dodge and their injector data, they don't have slopes per se. If you were to look at, I don't know why this is full screen on me. If you were to look at, let's see if I can get in there. See if I can zoom in. Excuse me. Okay, let me start over here because I'm thinking like 9 things at once. Okay, normally when you do an injector scale, what you're looking at is the depends on what it is. So with most things, you punch in a CC value. So you're saying that the injector at static flow gives me this many CCs of fuel. And that's great, right? The problem is CCs aren't accurate because an engine doesn't care about volume, it cares about mass. So the air going into the engine is done in mass. Everything is done in mass. There it is. And the Dodge ECU actually uses mass, and so that's nice. They actually use the milligrams of fuel injected, and that's really what these tables are about here. So this one is saying, at this pulse width, how much fuel do I get in milligrams out of the injector? So on a lot of ECUs, we have a fixed value for that, and it's the static value, and that determines a slope. And a slope is just, you know, this linear line, and the you know, up here at full open we get 1,000, down here we get 0. But injectors don't operate necessarily on a linear line. They have a linear region that's relatively linear, and then they have the non-linear region down at the bottom, which may go up over the target fuel or down below the target fuel. And Ford does it differently. Ford does 2 slopes. Ford has the main slope and then the low slope. which is a different angle based on the injectors. It could just be a steeper slope. It could be a shallower slope for the amount of fuel that you get, you know, and that kind of stuff. So it depends. And then what you do is with GM, they have a low pulse adder. So you give them the initial slope, and then you say, off of this slope, this ideal fuel volume, it's going to be wrong. So we have to add to our calculated pulse width to get us back to that that theoretical slope where it should be. What Dodge said was, screw all that shit. Let's put the low pulse values in here. How much fuel do I actually get when I shoot the injector for 0.1 milliseconds? How much fuel do I actually get when I shoot the injector for 0.6 milliseconds? How much fuel do I actually get when I shoot the injector for 2.8 milliseconds? Now what you're going to see here though is that these values are small and then they get big. So what they've done is they've got the 20, right? That gives us a slope up top. So from 10 to 20 we have a slope, and that's going to be pretty much the injector rating, right? So if I have this 80-pound injector gives us 11.3 milligrams at 1 millisecond. I'm sorry, at 11.3 milligrams per second. So if I shoot it for 10 milliseconds, I get a fraction of that. I get 100th of that. And then if I shoot for 20 milliseconds, see, this is double, because the injectors are linear in this region. However, less than that, these low numbers, this is the non-linear region of it, and the injectors perform non-linearly. So you'll see that instead of 1, at 1 you get 11.3, we get less than that. We get 0.09 or whatever it says. 0.0, what does that say? 0.07. So we get even less down here, where theoretically it should be at 1, it should be 11.3 or 0.00113, you know, milligrams of fuel. So anyway, so they have the low pulse adder built into that table. And I actually think that's pretty clever. It makes changing it between injectors a little more complicated, because you have to come in here and do all those calculations and then do the math on it. So what I had to do, because I have data for the injectors that are in this, but not in this format. I have standard GM low pulse adder values, and I have the amount of milligrams that these injectors provide at full flow. So I had to do math. I had to take, I'll show you the table here. So here's the low pulse adder table, stretched way out to 1 point whatever milliseconds here. Okay. So these injectors will say, we're just going to go to 1. So at 1-ish, I still had to add 0.23 milliseconds to 1 millisecond. I had to add 23% for this injector to even reach the theoretical flow that it would have if it operated linearly from 0 to 100%. So I had to add 23%. So what that tells me is I get 77% of the fuel that I need. I don't get the rest of the fuel, right? So then I have to back calculate what the milligrams of fuel at 1 millisecond would be, how much I actually get in milligrams based on this 23% error, and then put that into the value. So I had to do that. The problem is I finished that and I forgot to put the second table in place, and I think that's why I didn't want to start. But also the startup pulse widths I modified based on the old data, and now it's off. So now I probably need to bump this back up a little bit, because it didn't want to start. But also I didn't have the table completed on this one here. Why does it keep doing that? Stop doing that. So anyways, I know it's probably a little convoluted way of explaining it to you, but I hope it made sense in the end there. Let's try this again. Did it too soon, here, do it again. You do it too soon after you key on, the controller isn't ready, so it doesn't flash. Alright. So what is this? This is a Grand Cherokee. It's a 2015 Grand Cherokee. It's got a 6.4 liter Hemi. It's got a centrifugal blower on it and a cam exhaust. The absolute lowest quality intercooler I've ever seen in my life. I don't know where this kit came from, but the intercooler is bad. I'm not certain it's much worse than just having a bunch of tubes run in front of the radiator and then driving on the freeway. There's like so much room in between the fins. I can almost put a pencil in between them. The fin density is non-existent. There is no density. Turn the key off. Wait 10 seconds. While that happens, let's show you this intercooler. It's so bad. On the bright side, the radiator flow won't be impeded by this intercooler at all. Look how much room there isn't there. They're so bad. I mean, it's just a little wavy piece of aluminum. That's it. Like, there's nothing else to that intercooler. I've never seen a worse intercooler ever. Hey, it's Nick. Nick's here. So, I don't know how much of an impediment that will be on this thing. Hopefully not much. But it's the main. It's not gonna be good in the summer. The intake charge temp on this is gonna be really, really high, and that's a total bummer. And look, when I got those tables right, it fired right up. All right. So, as it is when you have unknown systems, yeah, I think eBay is ashamed to put his name on the intercooler. I think even eBay's like, oh yeah, no, we didn't date. No, we didn't date. There was no one night stand. So when this car showed up, or SUV, truck, whatever you want to call it, the fuel earning at idle was 46%. Negative 40. It maxed out, and the O2 sensors were still pegged rich on it. When you hit the throttle, it took a couple seconds for the car to go anywhere. Like it's like, and then it would start going. Really bad. So I spent some time getting the injector data ironed out, much closer than what it was. And that's where we're sitting right now. This is actually producing. Still got a little work to do. But considering where it was earlier, that's way nicer than 46%. Now this is the part I'm working on here that I think is really weird. Here's a histogram of the air fuel trim, short-term fuel trims. In this high region up here, it's really lean. Now what's crazy about that is I've been adding a ton of EE to that, and I'm not sure what's going on. I did all the low pulse injector stuff, and it was dipping into the low pulse region some, and so I made it add more fuel in that area based on low pulse, and it really should have got, well, I mean, it was 30%, so I guess 24 is better than it was. That's 30% there. But it's way better than it was. So I'm still trying to work on that region there. I need to see what region it's going to hit when we're in cruise, so let's do that now. Fuck it. This thing is super scary on the dyno because it's gigantic, for one. Let's start with that. It's gigantic, and the tires are inches from the end of the rollers. Like just a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, and it's crazy. Oh, it's radio controls. Oh, interesting. Excuse me. I'm gonna exit this one and restart my log, get all that old data. do a little pull on it. Okay, so interestingly enough, it doesn't appear that this thing's getting any boost into the engine. Okay, the air filter's fucking ironed out though. That's fucking good news. Let's see here. Oh, my first swear word, I think. All right, air fuels. Nice 12.3. So let me get 414 wheel right now, which is not much at all. But this is only, I think, 5 degrees of timing right now. I got the timing pulled way down. So I wanted to get the fuel in and get that stabilized and adjust the cam and get all that done. Make sure everything was working good before I started throwing timing at it. Because last thing you want to do is detonate a motor while you're tuning it, right? So that is way better than what it was just a couple pulls ago. See, I think that one's a tune. I think that one's a pull that completed. Yeah. So that was the last pull that I did. You see how it goes bloop, like that. Some of that's actually factory programming. Not that rich from the factory, but that trend, and then all these mods and everything, and the injectors made it that rich. But that trend is factory. All right. So that's good. That's a good start. It's only my second pull that I got to do. So I'm trying to tweak all the small stuff. Let's take a look at it. I think it's only like 5 degrees of timing. Let's see here. 6, 6, 7 at red line, 5 right here, 4.5 at 47. That's where that dip is on the graph. That torque dip is at 47. That's just not enough timing. It's obviously not burning everything efficiently for it to have that significant of a torque dip. But I mean, shoot, 7 degrees. It's a rip? How'd you know it was a rip? Is that Rest in Peace pocketbook? I'm not sure what that is. Well, I'm really happy with the airfields, but what's interesting to look at though is the map. Oh, the boost does come on. It comes up and increases up towards red line. There we go, 119. But there was very little boost on it lower on. It gives me, where do you go full throttle at? Right there. So our atmospheric pressure is 13.2 today. So that is 14.9. So it's giving me a couple pounds of boost when you first get into it. And then on the top end, I've got a map of 122. What's 122? Oh, saw a message come in. Let me see what it said. Only kid I've seen me so pipe in the picture of the intercooler on the website has huge fin. Yeah, awesome. Well, that was fast. Good job, Connor. For your AOS, sell a heating blanket for it. They can have a built-in thermostat, so you can keep the AOS warm so it doesn't build up the condensation with the oil going through it. Yeah, I'm still not sure about that. Still not sure that I want to heat it. You know, if you heat it, you increase oil carryover. So I'm not really sure what the point is. It'll get plenty hot in the engine, in the crankcase. Oil temp's really high in there. It's usually above the boiling temp of water. So I'm not too concerned, although it just means it's going to cycle out and in, you know. But I don't know. I got to think about it. I got to work on my cyclones some more today too. I had some more ideas of ways I could probably make the cyclone more effective. And then also add another cyclone to it, or another layer of baffling. I think we could really make it. I can make it really good. Be cool to do 2 cyclones, right? 2 cyclones would be pretty sweet. Let's see here. So where was I? So it's only gonna be 5 pounds of boost at red line. That's not much. That's not a lot of boost. Boost. All right. The idle trims though, that can't be beat. Let's see what we got here. There's still a little hesitation, but these things are funny. So if you look at the advance, let's see where spark advance right here. I tip in, they go down first. Right, you can watch right here. They have this, where are we at? They have this tip in. That one didn't do it, and that one worked better. When you get a really hard one, the timing is really delayed in going up. And almost all manufacturers have a tip-in knock retard, and it's to keep the car from bucking too much in a parking lot, right? You give it a small input of throttle, and if the throttle blade moves and you instantly get all this torque, it's easy for you to experience a bucking. So they add a little bit of retard to it, also to reduce knock, but also to reduce torque at the initial tip-in, to smooth in that new torque value that you're getting. But you'll see when I'm off the throttle, only when I'm off. Watch the short term. So I'm here, and then I go off, and it goes way. Oh, that one wasn't off. That one was actually. That's weird too, because it says my VE that I have in the map is 74%, and that seems even high. Like 74% would be high in this region with the engine at a high RPM and the throttle plate mostly shut. So right now it says it's 62%, and I'm getting about 10% correction. If I go a little higher, like 30% correction. It just seems like a lot of correction when my VE is 60 to 70%. I mean, it's not going to be 30% more than, I'm not going to 90% VE at partial throttle. So I'm not sure what to do about that yet. Still trying to figure that out. I don't see any throttle-based fueling tables for low loads. The only thing really is just when the injector pulse width drops, you know, are we getting enough fuel in the motor? Well, I've triple checked that. And this is offset. Oh, but when the manifold vacuum goes up, there is going to be a slight difference in offset. But the injector should open easier, which should make it flow more, not flow less. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I'm going to get irritated with that. Transient fuel, I have this burn fraction. This is based on engine coolant temp and just air mass. So I'm right here and right now. So they're saying that basically I got to add about 9% more fuel. And we're at a little higher air mass than that, but 6%. So they're saying that about 6% of your stream goes, or your injected pulse goes to the puddle. And with aftermarket injectors, that's usually larger, actually. So I could, in theory, just take this guy and add to that in the lower air mass areas where that is occurring, and that could potentially fix the issue. Now this is cylinder air mass, and this one is just air mass. So this is an 8-cylinder engine. So the question is do I multiply that by 4 or by 8? If it's air mass per revolution, then it's going to be times 4. If it's air mass, I don't know what the metering time is on it. That is the only issue. So it's not cylinder air mass, I don't think. It just says air mass. So if it's times 4, we're right here. If it's times 8, we're right here. So either way, at our current cylinder air mass times the cylinders, we're here. And as it revs up, we're going to be up in this, well, that we're still down here at this temperature. So I can actually add a little bit down there. I don't think that's going to hurt at all. That'll probably give me a little better tip in, and that will improve. This is a big jump. I'm doing a huge jump, way more than I should ever need. But I'm doing a huge jump because I just want to see if it gives me the result I want. If I do like this little tiny little jump, I'd be like, yeah, there's a difference here, but why is there a difference here? Is it because I made that one change, or something else, you know, added some other aspect of the tune? The temperature profiles change or something like this. I want to do a big ass change and see if that immediately affects what I got. So let me save it. And then I can take that big ass change out, or I can scale that change at in another revision. But I just want to do a big change and see if that gives me an appropriate response. Now this isn't like I'm adding 5 degrees of timing to the vehicle, right? So I'm not doing anything that's really damaging or dangerous by just adding some extra fuel. Now in theory though, that will richen everything up. So that might not. Let's see, what was the axes on that again? I can't do it. It is in the transient section. So there was no what am I looking for? There were no thresholds that say this table's active at this point. So I don't know what activates the tip-in transient tables, but I basically just increased. This would be a synchronous enrichment. I'm adding extra fuel based on a rate of change, and whatever this is using, whether it's using TPS or map based or whatever, I don't know, because it didn't tell us. And that's one of the issues with with factory ECUs, is that you don't always know, and you're at the mercy of whoever developed the definitions, whoever went through and decoded the ROM, went through all the language and saw which bytes go where, and you know, all that shit. And that's a lot of time. That's a lot of time. I don't have that kind of time. Says the guy that spent 3 days working on it, AOS design. But overall, I don't have that kind of time usually to do that. At least not for one maker model. You know what I mean? That's just a lot of investment for a very little return in what I do. Whereas my AOS is universal. Let's bring that map back up again. Close this one. Yeah, see, transient, burn fraction inverse. That's it. There's no thresholds for what causes transient fueling. I got some open loop fueling stuff, but that's it. Power enrichment, but tip-in is not power enrichment. And then I have this one transient map. So we'll get to experiment and see what we find. Well, my fuel trim at idle hasn't really changed, so that's good. I didn't add 20% fuel at idle. I was really hoping that would affect the transient as it was coming down, but it doesn't look like it is. Oh, it did change though. Look at that. Weird. Even though it's a transient table, that's a significant reduction. Fuck it. I mean, that's good. I will take that for what that is. I'll take that. Let's drive it and see what we get. Turn all this stuff off. Turn all that off. Where's the other one? There's another one too somewhere else. I think I got him. Got my laptop keyboard on the bench. Let me grab that for the dyno. Alright. Now I can do a pull. Hey, Nightfire. I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Just having fun with the Dodge, which is not something I say very often. Well, I say Dodge. It's a Jeep, right? But it's a Dodge. The ECU says 2015 Dodge. Put it in track mode. I don't know if that helps traction control or not. We'll find out. Park. Hey, look at that. It's a lot smoother. Nice. That dip's gone. I got rid of that dip. Need to add a little fuel up top. 5 pounds of boost, I think that's a little lean on this thing. Down here with 2 pounds, that's fine. But I might add a little more fuel, just taper in some more fuel where the boost comes up. That torque is super flat. That's a hell of a torque curve. Totally flat. So that horsepower curve should look like a 45-degree angle. Sure enough. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's really nice. So now the question is, how much timing do I add? Well, I gotta add some fuel first, but add some fuel and add some timing. So on a system like this, if for the timing to be worth it, I want to know, what do you think I should get with 1 degree of added timing? What do you think I should get? That's my question. Right now we're at 6. We're at 6 degrees of timing. And air feels a little lean, or a little lean on top. So we're gonna add a little bit of fuel up top. Fuel. Power enrichment. Based on air charge or pressure ratio. The pressure ratio so that it comes in as it gets more boost. I'm gonna add to this one. Let's see, 123. Yeah, this will actually add a nice natural taper to it because the boost is going up as we're getting towards where the boost is climbing. So it's naturally going to push it up on this map. Whoop. I mean, that was a big change. That was 20%. So we'll see how that does. But that was 20% at a pressure ratio of 1.5, which is, you know, another 5 pounds of boost on that or something. Actually, let's see what pressure ratio was on top. Do we have that? I thought I put that on here. What was my pressure ratio? 1.27. Okay, so it's probably a little higher. Probably had a little too much. Let me pull some back out. So yeah, our pressure ratio of 106 here, and then 134 right at the pop at red line. So yeah, I put too much fuel in it. Let's take that back down. All right, so that'll add a natural taper to the fuel, riching it up as the RPM goes up, only because the boost, as you saw by the pressure ratio, is continuing to go up. I already did VVT work on it. Judging by how flat that torque curve is, I think I did a good job. I think the cam timing is correct on that. This is actually spark based on VVT. It's not VVT. VVT's over here. We have a camshaft. It's only the exhaust cam. There's no intake cam, which is weird as far as for the phaser is concerned, it's the exhaust phaser. But I did just that, and like I said, judging by that flat torque curve, I did it right. So let's look at our spark. Wide open base. So we were getting 6, and that's what we got right down there. Let's double check. Oops. Cylinder air mass is 1.01. So we're up here. Look at that. And I pulled a bunch of timing out of it. So I'm gonna add 1 degree, just to see how much power goes up with 1 degree. How many should I see with one degree on something like this? How much should I see? This is pump gas. There's only 3 of you in there, so obviously I'm not like, you know, asking 20 people all at once, like, what's it gonna be? That's when the cap is working. That's wide open. Here's part throttle. Let's throw a little more in there. So my opinion on an engine like this, if I'm getting more than 10, then it's a worthy degree. If I'm getting less than 10, it's not. That's my opinion on it. That really gives you an come on now. That really gives you an idea of how this engine is behaving. You know, where am I on the spark hook test, essentially? How much timing does it want? If you don't know what a spark hook test is, picture a bell curve, okay? Not really a full bell curve, but a bell curve, all right? And if I give the engine no timing, how much torque is it gonna make? No torque, so at the bottom of this bottom line, this bell curve. I'll use this as my thing here. Okay, so here's my bottom axis, it's 0. So as I move up, as I'm adding timing, moving to the right, adding timing, I'm getting more torque out of the engine on the left side. So at 0 degrees, I have 0 torque output. As I add timing, it's going to increase. And it's going to have a pretty steep ramp for a little while because it's going to want that timing. It's really going to get a lot of horsepower. But it's going to start to nose over, right? And then it's nosing over towards the top. So now as I add timing, the gain in horsepower or torque is less. Then as I add too much timing, then it's going to start to go back down again until it's misfiring. So if I'm in this steep region, when I add 1 degree of timing to the right, I'm getting a big jump in power. That's obviously ideal to get through that region and into where it starts to level out. So if I add a degree and get 20 horse, I know I'm in a really steep zone. If I add a degree and I get 5 horse, I know I'm on this part of the curve up here at the top, right? So that's kind of my mentality as I'm thinking about what I'm doing. When I start the tune, I pull myself way down here to this zone where it'll take all the timing happily and give me a lot of power back. But I use that because it's safe. I'm further from the knock threshold, which is the knock threshold's coming in at this smooth zone. That's where the knock threshold starts to move its way back closer to where you're operating. So I try and get down below the knock threshold, get the fuel ironed out, get a bunch of things ironed out, and then add some timing and start to approach that threshold carefully. 10 seconds. Right, completed. All right. So the question is, where am I on that curve right now? Am I on a steep section or a flattening off section? Judging by the horsepower output, I'm hoping to God I'm on the steep section because that is not a whole lot of power. And there aren't a whole lot of factors I can control. The fuel's practically perfect for horsepower. Boost is there. What else do I have control over, right? Like air, fuel. Well, air I can't change. That's there because it's a centrifugal. Fuel I got already done. And then spark. My hand's dirty. And then spark. And that's it. So let's hope I'm on that steep part because leaving here with only 420 wheel, that would suck. That would mean that the cam is either a really bad match or the blower's got a leak somewhere or it's just low quality or who knows. Exhaust is restrictive. 5 PSI, the thing is great. I mean, really, on something like this, you should get almost 20 horse per pound. So I'm actually adding 100 horse to this thing. I have no idea what these are stock. Maybe 420 wheel on this dyno is over 100 horsepower for stock. I don't know what the rating is. I should have looked that up probably, huh? ...2015 Grand Cherokee SRT. What's the horsepower rating for the factory? Correct. Most engines are up there, you know, like 4 cylinders are like 15-ish. But no, you're totally correct. It's pretty average. A lot of cars make that about that much per pound, which is weird because you would think that, I mean, obviously not all cars, but many of them do in that range, 10 to 20 horsepower per pound. Some are more than that. I'm just getting some engine run time here. All right. Wow, that's disappointing. I didn't add any horsepower. I added some to the mid-range, where I added most of the timing in the mid-range. It did add like 20 pounds of torque, but then it just fell off on top. Which could be a factor of all sorts of things, so let's look along and find out. Hit stop. This thing is not reading my inputs. Seven. See what the air fuels were. Put this phone down real quick. It didn't change much. So you're going to see here the torque dropping in steps. I can't help but think that's knock retard. See how it goes in a step? Boop, boop, boop. These steps here. Very systematic looking. This could be knock retard. It'd be a bummer if it's knocking already. But air fuel is 13. I still need to add more fuel to it. Thought I had enough in it, but that was not enough. Let's see. My knock retard isn't registering. Maybe I got the wrong one pulled up. Let's change it. Retard. Let's change it from knock retard. We'll do total knock retard. And knock retard short. Oh, this is like Subaru and long. Okay. Try that. But before we do that, I add more fuel to it. Still not enough fuel. You gotta give it like 6 seconds for the controller to be active before you hit the right button. Usually that second set of dings is good. Alright, I got some comments to see what I got here. That's it, okay. That shape looks like an Akula submarine. The taxa profile. Come on. Man, I think I must have something on my fingers. Because none of my touch screens are doing correctly. My trackpad's not tracking correctly. It must be dirty. 2015 Jeep Grand Cherokee specs. 475 horsepower. Oh. Okay. Well, that's not bad. It's 475 with all the losses with this thing to the wheels. That's not bad then. I don't feel so bad then. That's still an improvement for sure. Yeah, I screwed that up. Hit that at the wrong time. Let's go in here. If you don't turn the key on before you hit the OK on that, then you get a transmission code. So clear the tranny DTCs. And then clear the engine ones. Then turn off. All these German-based ECUs. This is actually a German-based ECU, right? It's Mercedes. Not all the commands are active immediately, like BMWs, for example. You have to wait in a BMW for this light to go out. Now, this isn't a BMW. It's not going to be the same deal. So in this car, I wait about 10, 12 seconds for this to go away. That's how I know the commands are going to be fully executed before starting again. So. Nope, code's still in. So it should be a tranny code, is what it usually is. Yeah, lost communication with TCM, so that's expected because I hit the OK too soon. So transmission, reset adaptations. I'm gonna turn the engine off for that. Transmission diagnostics, clear DTCs, close that, go to the ECU, read, clear, off. There we go. Boy, that's way better. Holy shit, that's better. Then you used to buck and hesitate.
I had a strap brake. And I bumped into the fans. And I think I knocked him into my BMW. Now let me go check that out. Did I fuck it up? Yeah, well. Yep. Yeah, a couple of them did. Whoops. Yep. Missed my car by a little bit.
That's good.
Oh, the fan hit, looks like. This thing's fine. That's good. That's the first time, but this thing barely fits on this dyno. Did the rears give? Boy, the dyno's like bent though. Where the strap attached is bent a little bit. But overall, everything's okay. It's at a lower ride height. The strap's like, no, I will not let go.
How much tension are these straps in right now?
Dude, so much. Oh my God. that is. There's no giving that. All right, I'm gonna hit reverse a little bit. Push. No, I think we extend the rollers so the front's drop in. Wait, extend or short? Yeah, extend.
Then we'll pull the whole car back, right?
Yeah.
So pull the straps.
Yep.
So I'll pull it into the front and then shorten it up and
Exactly.
stick it in the rear. Why is it stopping?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it definitely bent towards. That's crazy. Well, that was fun. I gotta fix the front. giving him myself on the car. And this is there, so you can get something else already. Yeah. It's close to Mike and Riley here. It's close. My first time I was like, I actually kind of like I had like that far away. That's how far from the work. I want to see the replay of the video because I did live, so I think I don't know shit what happened. I'll watch the replay and see what's giving him out. I mean, I'm just a little paranoid, but oh yeah, sure. But this thing is so huge. Look how well I can fill the China. Like, there's no room on here. That much over here too. Yeah, these things are big. I don't know how big they are until I got it on here.
I thought you didn't do low power products.
We help. And these things will work on that. So
And yeah, editing could be worse.
it's going to run so much better.
Sounds nice.
Yeah, it's doing a lot better. So, that's something right there.
It's a different form than I've seen. I've usually
I
seen
can
it in
chase
shop
for you.
before.
I asked for Tom, and he even got these.
What happened to medicine? It used to be like disgusting.
Yeah, shut that shit down.
That's how you know it works. I think it's time to buy some more straps.
Both sides.
Yeah.
Oh. Alright, wash your hands. Alright, so Lane just asked me if it just tried to off-road itself. And I said, yeah. He said, it's a Jeep. To which I replied, yeah, I understand. It's a Jeep thing. You wouldn't understand. I don't understand. I don't. Alright, let's try again. See if I can eject this thing from the dyno again. Whoops. I gotta put the dyno in the right mode. Alright, track mode. That's all in the right mode, okay. Well, that was scary. I used both hands that time because there's no front straps because the front straps broke. So the front end was just floating the whole time. It was just steering on the dyno like this. Unfortunately, the results were not good. For some reason at 47, it added a ton of fuel. Added so much fuel you can see the inject duty cycle spike on the log. Could be because it decided to pull a little bit of timing right there. Yep, it did. So pulled timing right there. So it, I enabled the knock fuel add function, which is turned off on the tune from factory, which is weird. I mean, it's there. Why turn it off, right? So I enabled that, and it added a lot of fuel. But it's not adding fuel to it overall, which is really irritating. I'm adding fuel to the map, and it's not going in. I don't understand why that is. So two things. I got to make it knock to add fuel. No, I'm just kidding. That's silly. And the knock add fuel that I did, it was a lot. It the initial pull on this thing, I guess it's programmed to be aggressive, was 3, and then it tapered it back in. But the amount of fuel that it added, it went from 13 to 10.5, which is quite the fuel excursion. Let me show you. See the green line there? It dips way down. So I gotta figure out why the power enrichment's not adding power or adding fuel, even though I've asked it to. And then I gotta figure out why is it so fucking hot in here? Oh, the thing was set at 85 on my side. Jesus, no wonder it's hot. Alright, so I gotta go in and figure out what the heck's going on. Double check the power management tables, see if there's any thresholds I missed. Why did it work for a little while, but then not do any more? Seeing the enriching fast enough, but I am going to increase the enrichment speed by a little bit more. That's one of the things I added on earlier in it. Well, it's adding some fuel. I just need to add more, I think. Should do it there. Yeah, so these things don't like much timing. From the factory, at this high of a load, I think they're set at 9. And so I'm down at 6.5, 7. And at 13 AFRs, it's just not enough. Oh no, 12.5. At 12.5 AFRs, it's just too much timing, or it's not enough fuel, either way you want to look at it. So I got to increase the safety margin on this vehicle, because the guy obviously can't go blowing it up in a week. So I just have to do what I can to get the fuel correct and the timing correct. Just, you know, just gotta tune it. That's what it is, right? Nothing special about that. Just gotta do it right. So turn the key off first. Wait the 10 seconds. Then turn it back on. Whew, it's hot. It's a hot day today, and it's hot in here. Hot day. It's 57 degrees. But compared to the last couple of weeks, it's done. All right. Almost out of gas. That sucks. Dude didn't leave much fuel. Low fuel. That sucks. It's alright, luckily I'm almost done. As long as I get this fuel to richen up, then this thing's ready. Set something up. Be right back. I gotta set my front mirror up so I can see how I am on the roller. Did I get it far enough? Nope. How'd I do? Not enough. Well, that ain't gonna work. Had to adjust the roller so the thing will track straighter. Oh yeah, that's way better. I can almost not even hold the wheel. Not that I would do that after the fuck just happened. Alright. Now, that being said, turn my phone around so you guys can see my laptop. So I'm going to use my hands to hold the wheel. see what we got. Power was low. We got one count of knock right here. I saw it somewhere at 48. Air fuel is richer. Like I want it, it's right at 12.0. Do another one. Let's do another. Come on, I fucking clicked it. This intercooler sucks. Intercooler's not good at all. I shut the hood and the power dropped pretty significantly from that, as well as the richer air fuel ratios. But it shouldn't have dropped the power as far as it did. It dropped it 20 horse. Hey Mark, you missed the fun stuff where I shoot a car off the dyno. Or power. I know, it's not doing it though. Hey, people are just showing up. Yeah, strap broke. 2 straps broke. Well, one broke first obviously, and then the second one probably broke right after that. And this thing went phew, off the dyno. Luckily it went straight. That pull was clean. That pull was clean. 7 degrees of timing. That's so crazy not having any timing on these things. I mean, it's a Hemi, right? That's just what they do. I feel like it should do more though. I feel like it should be doing more power than that. I mean, I guess I could tweak the cam some more and see if that helps. Absolutely not. I'm on the dyno, watching me on the dyno. That's funny. You should stream live, and then I'll watch you watch me while I'm on the dyno. I'll watch you on the dyno, watching me on the dyno while I'm on the dyno. I mean, the intercooler is shit, but I'm still getting 5 pounds of the motor, so it's not too bad. A few videos really recommended map center we trust one from an auto parts store. I will not. I would never would. And they never work. Every time a customer brings one from a Napa or Advance or O'Reilly's or whatever, it doesn't work right. Unless it's an actual Denso mount that you get from which you can get. We can get them from Napa. They have the Denso mount. It's got to be an actual Denso mount or an OEM super mount. Anything else, it's inadequate. And I have videos where I've taken them apart and showed you guys the inside and how bad they are. The aftermarket non-OEM, non-Denso maps are very inferior and they're totally different internally. So it's got to be the Denso, otherwise the response time is way too low. The factory map responds very quickly, and it has its own smoothing circuit to determine how much smoothing we apply to it. Some of these maps respond really, really slow, almost like they have an internal smoothing circuit. And the requirement is that at this airflow, it gives us this voltage, right? At some airflow, it's some voltage. But it doesn't say how fast it has to take to get to that point. So what you'll find is with ones from auto parts stores, you put them in the car, you tip in, it's a really lean, lazy, you know, steady state to steady state though, it's okay, it'll level out. But that delay time is bad. So when the turbo's spooling up, the car runs lean, it's not good. So no, nothing from auto parts store unless it's an actual Denso or Subaru OEM mass airflow sensor. Otherwise, you're just going to hate your life. Contest Twin Scroll 7163 kit for 2010 Legacy from a guy in Russia. Right on. I did. Isn't that what I did? Or I did a 6758? I think I did a 6758 on a guy. We built the custom kit for it. Thing ripped. Yeah, that's the right part number. The 6040. That's the right one. It's a good sensor. Why don't this thing cool off? This thing had a bit of an oil leak underneath it. I don't know if the owner knows that. Look at this fucking dyno sheet. Unless I put it on down. There we go. Oh fuck, I forgot something. I think I dropped my work phone somewhere. In this guy's car. Probably during the fun times. Yep, there it is. No, you should only get factory coils. Definitely not get Denso coils. fuck's going on here? Dude, fuck you. I don't need to see that. Alright, gotta add more fuel. I don't want to add more fuel though. I don't want to run more than 12 to 1. These things like enrich and boost though, so. Sorry, I know this isn't exciting to watch me do nothing on your screen. I apologize for that. Just turn this camera around so you can see an idea what I'm doing here. You turning? There you go. There you go. So I am working on adding more. I don't know why this thing's all messed up, but it's not showing the graph. But I have a little more VE here in this area, because I need to get it to tipping a little nicer, and that's why I added a tiny bit more fuel to it. So yeah.
Remember that time that you said the car on the dyno's not going anywhere and you parked your BMW in front of it?
Yeah, and then I made it go somewhere, almost hit my BMW.
That's how it always works though, right?
Right. Well, and it hit the fan, and the fan shot across it and hit the BMW.
Did it?
Yeah, I didn't fuck it up though.
Did it do anything?
No. can't believe that the guy that tuned this before me had cranked up the knock threshold so far. I mean, you're seeing here that it's knocking. Like, why would you turn it up where it's like not sensitive anymore? Exotic metals. I like exotic metals. I don't know what you mean by exotic metal valves, but for the most part, exotic metals work well. This is where I have the exhaust retard. I wonder if I can use less of it and get the blower. I mean, I'll lose a little bit of boost, but if I can increase a little bit of overlap and blow just a little more through the cylinder, I get a little cooling effect to it. If I get some cooling, then that could help reduce knock tendency. Let's put this one down here. So if I can get a little more cooling and have less knock, that's a win-win in like every book, right? Just want to do that. I wish the graph would work correctly, but that's what I get. So I'm pulling about 9 degrees out of the cam on the top end. That should be enough to make a difference. If it's going to make a difference, that should be enough to do it. Looks pretty good to me. That part's good. All right, back to that question. Sorry, I'm not good at multitasking. I have a penis. Hope you get holiday. Curious why your Subaru limit boost video. Why does Subaru limit boost below a certain temp outside? I don't know, and they're really aggressive with it. They pull a bunch of target boost and duty cycle out with low temperature, and I have no idea why. Duty cycle alone makes sense, and they might just be being overly aggressive on that. I get duty cycle, but there's more dense, and the car, you get more boost with less turbine speed, and wastegate duty cycle is a relatively direct correlation to turbine speed, so you get lower duty cycle, lower turn speed, you still hit your boost targets, no problem. So that all makes sense. But the reduction in target boost doesn't make sense to me. It's almost like they accidentally put the target boost based on intake air temp or coolant temp into the intake air temp one. Like, it's weird how much they reduce it. So I don't totally know as why they would do that, and I haven't talked to any engineers on that. Nice seeing work on other brands. You know, I like other stuff. I like to have fun. Would the boost limit be related to open or closed loop fueling or some emissions thing? I wouldn't think so, because it's the top end stuff, and they rarely even sniff the top end because the car spends so little time on the top end. So I don't know the answer to that one, unfortunately. I was asked about exotic metals and oversized valves. I'm not a big oversized valve guy. You got to open the port up a lot for a bigger valve to make sense on the Subaru. You already have these valves in the airstream, and you make them bigger, you're just blocking the airstream more. And there's so much room to port, even with factory-sized valves, that you've really got to be pushing, you know, the limits of what you can do on the head, even to really need an oversized valve. I used to do them in everything, and then I just realized that I wasn't getting anything out of it. If you do a bowl blend, do an aggressive bowl or bowl porting without excessive porting, without removing twist material from the port itself, and then cut the seat open, you can put a bigger valve in there and get more flow overall. But you could also just do the entire port and you get more flow overall. So it's kind of like a give and take there. Overall, I don't like increasing port volume too much. So I like a bowl blend. I don't like a full port. The bowl's the restrictive part anyway, so why waste all your time on the rest of the port? The more volume you add to the port, the more lag you add to the port, to the engine, to the turbo, to all that. So I don't like doing that. I like to do as much as I can with cams. And then if I go beyond what I can go with just cams, then start getting into more aggressive porting. But some guys port first, I port last. Even on stock cams, I've seen them just laggy from overporting the heads, and that's just not my thing. This thing feels like it drops a cylinder every now and then. I was doing it earlier too. That's nice. This engine runs faster than the tach needle moves, significantly faster. Like my digital tach on the screen, the log, says like 45. This thing still says 3,000 and goes up to like 36 eventually. The engine revs way faster than this tach moves. That's always a good time. Sounds good though. Sounds good. I got a good response and a great throttle response. It was absolute ass when it showed up, so I'm happy to get a good response out of it. Oh yeah, I can use both hands. The front strap. Well, that picked up on the top end quite a bit, actually, more than I anticipated. It also leaned it out a little bit, which would make a little bit of sense. Did it knock? That's the question. Timing's very flat. No knock. Fueling looks flat. Everything looks great. Yeah, that's all good. No knock. Good fuel. Good power up top. Almost out of gas. Do one more. Sorry, I can't hold the phone. If you missed the beginning of the video, the straps broke earlier and this thing went off the dyno. just a little bit, but it was enough. I think I yelled "oh fuck" or "oh shit" or something like that. I'm gonna watch the replay myself and see what happened. So I gotta put the phone down and hold both the wheel here because there's no front straps on it anymore. All right, good power. Flat fuel, no knock. Looks good. Wonder if I can raise the rev limiter on this thing. I'm only running to 60 to 6,000. It's got a cam in it, but I think the bottom end is all stock, so I'm not sure what the wink link is on these things. I don't know where the rev limit is on this thing. To be honest with you, I have no idea where it's at. It's not in general. Definitely not in idle. Shouldn't be in airflow. Shouldn't be in exhaust. Doesn't have EGR anyways. Fuel. Oh, cutoff. Probably cutoff section, huh? That makes sense. So they've got it set at 68. I was going to 6. What's up?
How's it going?
Good, I think I'm done. I just wanted to double check a couple last things in the ROM before I close it up.
Are you doing another pull on it?
I didn't plan on it.
What?
I didn't plan on it.
Oh, okay.
Why?
I didn't get any sweet videos.
Oh, wow. So I'll do one then. I'll do one. I'll go to a slightly higher RPM. Oh, it looks like it's cutting off on its own. Alright, I'll do one more pull. I need to adjust something real quick though before I do that. Check straps and stuff. Alright, you ready? So rev limiter set at 68.
I don't know if you meant to do that, but you literally just made the logo go straight up and down perfectly.
I tried to rev it higher, but the throttle shut down on me.
What?
I tried to rev it higher,
That's good.
but the throttle said no. What did you do to increase response? Just the fueling and throttle mapping? I hadn't touched the throttle mapping. I didn't do anything with throttle. Just made the fueling in the... So, a lot of these have a very aggressive spark retard when you tip in. So I reduced the amount of retard at tip in, and then, yeah. Let's see, what's going on right there? There's a little bit of a... I felt a little for a split second. Let's see what my fuel was. I'll show you the graph here in a second too. All right, here you go. Here's the graph. Looks really cool. How flat that torque is. That's good. See my fuel curve now. I'm gonna set that down again. And that's the fuel. Thanks, Mark. Have a good day. Or good evening, I guess. It's almost the end of the day now. So that came out good. Everything came out good. In the end, despite the catastrophe, everything came out good. It is interesting though that the rev limiter was raised, but the throttle's not. So even though my foot was in it, before the rev limiter even came in, the throttle cut happened. So I want to look and see if I don't have the pedal raised up or what. So yeah, like here, the engine torque expected is interesting because on the highway at 40% throttle, it wants to give you 70% torque. So that's not great. So I didn't adjust the throttle at all on this. It felt really snappy and good. But you can see at 0 miles an hour, if you're at 75% throttle, it only gives you 50% torque. Now I could linearize that. Or at least get it closer to being linear. And that might result in the thing feeling really, really fast. I know from factory, Dodge does this. Well, this is factory mapping here. On their manual cars and other cars too, and it's the inverse. Like it gives you way more torque before you even get to full throttle. This one is doing the opposite. I don't know if it's because it's an automatic or because it's a Cherokee or what. This is at the flywheel, so this is engine output. This is more linear. Okay. This is very linear. 25, 40, 45, yeah, that's very linear. And then the smaller engine speeds lose a little bit. And this is at the wheels it expects. So it's saying that the transmission, so there's torque multiplication happening here because of the torque converter is what they're doing with that. Okay. So that's the wheels. That's the automatic transmission there. Here's at the flywheel. That's actually quite linear. As you would expect. So that's cool. Except for, right, oops, clicked it again, wrong one. Flywheel. Right here. It's a little deadened at lower engine speeds. So I would say you could take this column right here and paste it all the way up and just have the whole thing be the same. But I'm not going to because
until after I drive this thing on the road. I don't want it to be weird. But it actually does do one weird thing. When I get the full throttle, it all of a sudden goes thunk, and that happens right here. I wonder if that's it right there. That's probably why, actually. That's exactly where it happens. Right at 2,400 RPM. As I get towards full throttle, all of a sudden it goes boop, and there it is. At 5%, it goes from 60 to 40, or 60 to 100, and 40% increase in 5% throttle. All right, so I am gonna adjust this because that is really annoying, and I don't know anybody that would want it to do that. So I'm gonna do that from about 2,000. I'm not gonna do it 2,000 down where I just was. I'm going to leave the bottom one the way it is. I'm just going to blend it in a little bit because I don't want it to be too drastically different than the factory feel on that. But that doesn't answer my question with why is the throttle shutting close to red line. Need to raise that. I think definitely goes up. We definitely added 30% to this thing. And in actuality, oh no, yeah, the torque is really flat. So torque's flat, horsepower is going up. Torque adapt, trans, yep, none of that. I don't see anything here that says $6,600. They put the 68 here. Why did they put the 66 there? That doesn't make sense to me. All right. Well, I need to drive it, make sure that's good. Hey, no problem. B Mud Skipper. Boy, these screen names sometimes makes it difficult. But thank you for stopping by and I appreciate the kind words. Let's turn this off. Turn that on. Come on. Let's flash this change. See if I can drive this thing off the dyno again with all the newfound torque. Should go move my car.
post start section is really lean in the post start. I wonder if I can adjust that post start, richen it up some. Because eventually it stabilizes back out again. Do we have access to post start routines? Catalyst and component protection. I don't want that. There we go. Cold warm up. That's just for a cold engine to warm it up. A startup temperature, so I can add a little bit to this area, and that should keep it rich in the post-start region, even in the hot restarts. I'll do it there. Where else do I got? Startup injectors, that's to start it. And this temperature control is for safety stuff. So technically the only spot I got adjustments that I can make are in this cold warm there. And potentially speed density comps based on temperature if I have any. Flex fuel, IAT. We're not doing MDS. Barrel multiplier. Yeah, no, that's post start though. It takes a while for these people to find all the stuff, right? MAF calibration. This doesn't even have a MAF anymore. It's got a cal though. Charge motion device. Man, my phone is getting hot as shit. I need to stop this in a while. All right, let me do a little mini pull here. Just want to see how the throttle feels. Still there. Same little blip, but still there. That's a bummer. Same little blip. It just goes for a split second. I don't see it in the logs. That's what's crazy. I don't see a fuel spike. I don't see a timing spike. I don't see anything. Let's see if it's there on the road or not. If it's on the road, I definitely got to figure it out. All right, we are done on the dyno. We're done on the dyno. Just gonna park. I'll roll over myself like that fucking kid that played Chekhov did. That's a fucking bummer. I don't think I'll ever forgive Jeep and Dodge for that shit. I don't know if you guys remember these things had a recall on them. They would just shift themselves out of park. And one of them shifted himself out of park, rolled down the hill, and squished that actor that played Chekhov in the new Star Trek reboot. Poor kid. Talented young kid gets squished by his fucking Dodge. I'm sure they paid a lot of money in legal fees and shit. But, alright, so I hit the road with this. I gotta unplug my power cable and I'm gonna go on the road. Obviously, streaming on the road's not gonna work, and this thing's pretty much out of gas anyway, so I ain't got much to do. But I'm gonna go. This has been 2 hours and 12 minutes and 54 seconds so far today that I've been working on this car. Live, the other 2 hours before that. So if you missed the part where I fucking drove off the dyno, then you should watch that. It just went forward off the rollers onto the ramps a little bit. 2 straps broke and it went pshing, and I yelled something. I don't recall what it is now, whether it was shit or fuck or whatever, but and it hit the plastic fan. Thankfully the fan's of plastic, which then launched it towards my car, which is parked in front of the dyno. It's my BMW up there. And bounced the fan out the back of my car. I guess better my car than somebody else's, right? So that was fun. Anyways, that is it for this thing. I don't know if did I show you guys? I'll walk around really quick. Super cheap supercharger kit on it. I mean, I'm guessing it's cheap because the intercooler is absolute bad. I mean, it's just the definition of bad. My camera's too zoomed in. I can't zoom out. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's all the fun for tonight. Appreciate you stopping by. Ask some questions. Feel free to visit on Discord. Shoot me an email. Check out more videos here on the channel. If you know where the Discord channel is, you go to my website, GetaDomTune.com, click on Shop, and then Shop, click on Tuning, and you go to the Discord channel. The description for the subscription is there. In the description is the link for the channel. You can click on the link, it'll bring you to the channel. You don't got to pay to come to the channel and talk to me. The payment is for the educational section of Discord, which you can't get to without the subscription. And that's where I teach tuning and that kind of stuff. But if you want to shoot the shit, play some video games, ask a couple of car questions, you know, whatever you want, you know, say hi to the guys, see what kind of projects we got going on in there. I have a channel where I posted pictures of the things that I'm working on, the projects like my AOS and intercoolers and you know, all kinds of stuff. I posted pictures in a Dom's Inventions and Creations thread. The dry sump stuff, all that shit's in there to some extent. And all of that. So if you want to come by, hang out with the guys, I appreciate it. Say hi. And other than that, have yourself a good evening. Thanks for stopping by.